Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
The So Bros Network presents the movie podcast breaking down films and their impact on pop culture as they approach the legal drinking age. This is Drinking With. Now here's your host, Stephen McCash.
Welcome to Drinking With, the podcast where we raise a glass to the movies that have reached the legal drinking age. I'm your host, Stephen McCash of the So Bros Network, and join me as we embark on a cinematic journey through the classics of yesteryear, celebrating their 21st birthdays in style. All from iconic blockbusters to hidden gems, each episode will toast to a different film that has stood the test of time and shaped our cultural landscape. So grab your favorite beverage or the one we have curated for this episode, and let's dive into the nostalgia as we explore movies that are finally old enough to join us for a drink. Also joining me at the bar, as always, are the two best people I can think of to stumble out of a bar after a long discussion of movies. First is the resident film critic of the So Bros Network, Mr. Brandon Vick, who is also a member of the Southeastern Film Critics Association, a board member of the Music City Films Critics Association, and most importantly, the birth giver of the Vic's Flicks and Cinema Chronicles podcast that you can hear wherever you get your podcasts from. And joining him and myself is the man behind the So Bros Network that puts it all together, the EIC, the glue of the brand, a gin aficionado, cat lover, all-around football wordsmith, budding sports talk radio star, and the man who loves to tell you how much he hates Blade, Mr. Stoney Keeley. Gentlemen, it's hot as fuck outside. How are we doing today?
I'm feeling pretty good. I don't love to tell people how much I hate Blade, but people love to bring up how much I hate Blade.
And Gremlins or Gremlin?
Gremlins. And
the second one.
Is the
Gremlin's the first, and then
it's
Gremlins.
just called Gremlin?
Yeah.
No.
It's not?
No, Gremlins 2, the new batch.
Oh, it is called. Oh,
sequel.
it is that. I was thinking it was Gremlin and Gremlins.
That you're thinking of Alien.
Ah, that's right. Same thing.
Yeah, the first one's called Gremlins.
I'm
I don't
which
like
makes
that one
sense
either, but
because there is more than one Gremlin in that movie, so
Yes.
touche.
But that is my point.
Yeah.
I did not bring up Gremlins. Brandon brought up Gremlins, so people keep bringing up my ticks on Blade.
I love that it's movies that, if you're of a certain age, you probably have never even seen them anyway.
Or maybe heard of.
Yeah, and you probably don't even know who like Wesley Snipes is unless Deadpool and Wolverine, and I don't even know if certain people got that reference, depending on how old you are. But I love that, I just love that people are passionate about these movies that, honestly, I don't really fucking think about at all.
Yeah.
See, people need to come after you now.
Yeah.
I'm going to start sending them your way.
I'm with Brandon on that one. This is one of those movies that that don't come talk to me about, because I'm going to give you the love or the hate of it as Stoney does Blade. And we're talking about Hellboy today.
2004.
The 2004.
I don't want to relate this to any other one.
Well, if I'm doing the math correctly, 2004 plus 21 gets us to today, 2025. So I did watch or attempt to watch the correct
2004
version.
plus 21.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not 21. That's 2004.
Is he having a stroke?
Oh, you said to get us to 2025?
I was like,
let me tell you something.
What is happening?
Can we reschedule?
I don't know what is going on in Brandon's brain right now.
Yeah.
God, it started with Gremlin.
Yeah.
Remember that classic?
Yeah. Let's.
Okay, but yes, 2004 Hellboy.
Yeah.
It's like George Satellites all over again.
Oh my God, it is.
Did you know that the little Change in My Pocket song?
Georgia Satellites, yes.
For the longest time, Brandon thought that was performed by a man named George Satellites.
Which, in all fairness, probably at like Napster or one of those, it was probably misspelled. So I just assumed it was George. Yeah, George Satellites.
Or was it Morpheus? Was that one
Morpheus
too?
was one.
Yeah.
Morpheus was after Kazaa.
Kazaa is what it was, yeah.
But yeah. So, in all fairness, it could be. But
But here we are,
Yeah,
Hellboy,
but here we are,
2004.
Yeah.
And quickly, Hellboy is a movie about a demon raised from infancy after being conjured by and rescued from the Nazis, grows up to become a defender against the forces of darkness.
Well, most of that sounded like my ex-wife.
Yeah. To me, and we'll get deeper into this, this is just like a culty version of Men in Black.
I don't know if I'm
not
willing
with
to
you
go
on that
down.
one.
Okay, we'll deep dive later.
Nope.
But Hellboy stars Ron Perlman as Hellboy, John Hurt as Trevor Bruttenholm, I think I pronounced that correctly, Selma Blair as Liz, Rupert Evans as John Myers, and Jeffrey Tambor as Tom Manning. But I don't want to go much further without mentioning Doug Jones as Abe Sapien. And we'll get into a little deep dive about Doug and how movie studios do not like his voice.
Really?
That's hurtful.
Yeah.
That is hurtful.
Yeah.
Abe Sapien has I was thinking, rewatching this, I was not into ASMR at the time, and now I am. I was like, I could listen to Abe Sapien ASMR.
It's also starting to make sense on why, like, he was that fish man in Shape of Water.
Yeah.
Because he didn't talk.
Yeah. But let's get into the drink. Let's not waste time.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get into who directed, who wrote it, all that good stuff. But simply the drink. We could have gone the easy cop-out route and gone with the line of cinnamon whiskey that Hellboy has called Hellwater.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still made today or not. I'm a Fireball guy. If I'm going to do that kind of shit.
I can't do any of it
Yeah,
anymore.
no, I can't do any of that.
Well, the Jack Fire was a little
I
less
like the Jack.
syrupy.
That was pretty
Fireball is very
Very
syrupy to me.
and sweet.
And if you mix Jack Fire with Dr. Pepper, that used to be...
Ooh,
Yes.
dangerous.
Also, if we were doing the sequel, Hellboy drinks Tecate, which is one of my favorite Mexican beers. He drinks that throughout the film.
Hell yeah.
But
Man
we
of my
didn't-
own heart.
We're not doing the sequel, so I came up with an actual drink.
Is that called Hellboys?
Sure. Oh, the sequel? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'd
You thought about the drink.
moved past Gremlin
No,
at
I
this
can't.
point.
I can't. I'm going to circle back to my math later.
I got to, since I didn't pay much attention to the fucking film,
No.
I just simply call this drink the Hellboy. And it's 4.5 ounces of tequila, 1.5 ounces of amaretto, 1.5 ounces of lime juice, and 3 ounces of ginger beer. You're going to combine all the ingredients except for the ginger beer and shake it together. Fine strain into a ice-filled Collins glass, topped with ginger beer and garnish with a cherry, and there's your Hellboy.
I love it. I love the
That sounds
combination
nice.
of the cherry and the ginger beer. It's a little outside the box there. We're cooking now.
It is, but that sounds like a nice little mix.
I think a couple of these, and you're going to watch a much different movie than I did.
I think we already watched a much
I
different
was just saying,
movie
I was
than you
stone
did.
cold sober and did that.
But this is what disappoints me because the director, I love his work. Pretty much
I
everything
was
he's
gonna
ever
ask.
made,
Yeah.
I've been a fan of, except for The Shape of Water. That was just a little too much for me.
I haven't seen the
This
Shape of
man
I like
loves
that one.
sexy fish for some reason.
I love it.
But Guillermo del Toro, who did Mimic, Pan's Labyrinth, in The Shape of Water, like I mentioned. Nightmare Alley, was that what it was?
Nightmare
I
Alley,
love
yeah.
that fucking
Love that movie.
Netflix Pinocchio.
Yes, I know that exists. I did not see
Yeah.
it.
Oh, you should.
It's weird.
It is. It's totally Del Toro.
It's totally Del Toro. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's trademarked the phrase, but
Right.
it's also like Pinocchio. So like when I watched it with my wife was like, "What the fuck are we watching?"
yeah.
Fair.
Well, I'll watch that Pinocchio than that Tom Hanks Disney Plus Pinocchio.
Oh hell yeah!
So-
Plus that GDT's Pinocchio has a sick Criterion collection.
Yeah, it does. Oh,
I'm gonna get that one day.
it's a work of art.
It is. Yeah.
I just know the Disney version.
Fair enough.
That's good enough for me.
The original.
Yeah, the
Okay,
OG.
good. All right, making sure.
Del Toro also wrote the screenplay to the film along with Peter Briggs, who really doesn't have many other credits outside of this film, and then Mike Mignola, but Mike Mignola is the person who created Hellboy.
I was about to say, yeah, he's written some. I've got a couple of volumes of his short stories involving Hellboy, not like graphic novels, but like it's a literal book you read kind of deal
Okay.
Oh, with pages?
with pages,
pages and-
words on paper. It's,
What?
It's,
No pictures?
I
Really?
didn't know no pictures whatsoever. I did not know such a thing existed, but he really. It's one of my favorite books. Like if you like the sci-fi occulty kind of stuff, it's good work.
Yeah, it was created in '93 as pretty much something for San Diego Comic-Con. and then it became popular through that, and then grew into a full-size comic for Dark Comics, and grew from there.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I did not realize
It's been around
that's
that long.
how it was born.
I didn't know Comic-Con had been around that damn long either, to
Oh,
be honest.
touche.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So let's just jump into it. We've got our drinks and our casting out of the way and such. Let's get into money. It's 2004. What do we think the budget for Sir Hellboy is?
Oh man, it was the property was pretty popular at the time in the comic world. I kind of felt like that early 2000s boom of let's get superhero movies out. So I don't know. I feel like they would be willing to throw some money at this.
I'm gonna say 55.
55.
I'm gonna say 75.
55 and 75. Y'all are almost meeting in the middle. $66 million.
I almost went into the 60s, but I'm like, well, I don't know.
Let's talk about if it made money, which
I don't remember if this was a hit or not.
I couldn't have told you. I would have thought it was a hit, but
Yeah.
it opened April 2nd, 2004. It opened against 3 other films making their debut that landed in the top 10 that week. Prince and Me opened at number 6.
I don't even remember that.
Is
It's
that
Julia
Stiles?
Stiles. Yeah,
I think so.
I just went blank on that. But your top 5 for that week: Passion of the Christ at number 5.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it
at
was
number
still,
5?
At number
was
5.
still
It'd been
running.
out a while.
Oh yeah.
Because that was what, an Easter movie, I'd imagine.
No,
It was
that was
in-
February.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. So it had been out for
Oh.
a couple of months.
Shows you, I never saw it.
Well, I mean, it did. It was
It had
just
legs.
beaten by. It was the highest rated R grossing movie for I don't know how long.
Yeah. Then you have Home on the Range at number 4.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I don't remember that one at all.
I think we've talked about this
Have
though.
we?
The cow movie, Roseanne voices.
Okay, so it's animated.
It's a Disney. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Number 3 was Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed.
Ugh. Okay.
I don't even remember
That
that
was
movie
It
either.
wasn't good.
Stupid.
Yeah. Number 2 is Walking Tall.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Rock.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh
Yeah.
hell.
I'd like to revisit that movie
Yeah.
at some point.
And then Hellboy did debut at number 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
But
if Walking Tall was number 2,
yeah,
I'm
I don't even know if it hit 20 million.
all right. Well, that's the question. U.S. Canada opening weekend. You're looking the 1st of April, springtime. Blockbuster season's kicking off, or about to kick off, really.
Yeah.
What did it make?
I don't know why, but
Domestically
something. I just want to say 17 million.
I'm gonna say 24.
Stoney's the closest, even though he went over. So Price is Right. You would have won, Brandon.
Yes.
23 point,
Oh, okay.
right at $2 million. 23.2, let's say.
Damn.
Okay.
Your domestic total overall, a little over $59.5 million.
Okay.
So you
did not.
haven't made your money back just in the States, but worldwide altogether, you made a little over $99.3 million.
There you go.
So it made a touch of money, obviously enough to get a sequel or two and a reboot. I wouldn't have thought by these numbers you would have ever gotten that.
No.
Not for that kind of movie.
But I do think there's, and I don't know if you have anything on it or not, but I do feel like it is one of those that's like, when it came out to rent and to buy, and then like because of the fandom of Hellboy, and I think with Way Del Toro, I could see how that second one did get made because it's not a flop, but I do wonder what kind of momentum it had beyond beyond theaters.
Yeah, I didn't think to look up like DVD sales or anything, but
Well, no,
I think you're right where it did much better after its
and then like
theatrical release.
the merchandising stuff too.
Well,
like the
right.
action figures
And-
and T-shirts and all that stuff.
Was McFarlane doing like
I think
figures for that?
I
and
think
shit?
so because I remember like the
He did
line
something.
of the line of all the big like statues that came out of the film and stuff too that are like $200.
Yeah. They but I will say no magic work because and I personally wish he would have, but I know they wanted Perlman and Del Toro wanted to make a third one. But
Yeah.
because the second one was not seen as successful, they never
Well,
got
this-
to do it. And
well,
they,
also-
Second one, if you didn't like the
yeah,
first
if you
one,
didn't like the first one, you don't ever watch Golden Army.
press play on the second
Yeah.
one just
So-
to see.
The third one did not happen, partly due because Del Toro and what did I say the creator's name was? Mignola had a falling out.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that'll do it too.
But worldwide, the UK was, as they usually are, the number one. They came in at 5.6 million. They brought in, and then the Spaniards brought in right around 4.8 million as well. So it had a good
for them.
Good run in Europe.
Yeah.
Bolivia did not care for Hellboy.
Oh, boy.
Always there.
That was $7,800.
Oh,
But our
man.
friends in Bulgaria.
Oh, that's who I was thinking
Yeah.
of. Bulgaria,
Not
They came
Bolivia.
through. They
Bulgaria
came
came
through.
through with $62,000
Get
at
it.
the box office.
How about
Get it.
that,
Yeah.
man? Bulgaria showing up.
And I don't know what percentage the Bulgarian media made up for the Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter score, but what do we think
Oh,
Hellboy
man.
Oh.
was thought of by the
By the
press,
critics.
by the critics?
78.
I'm gonna say.
Even though it might be rotten, but I'm gonna go 78.
I'm gonna go 72.
You both are low, 81. The critics
Damn.
seem to really like Hellboy.
Yeah. I mean, listen, for the genre, I think it holds up pretty well, even to this day.
Well, and we can get into it, but the craftsmanship that Del Toro brings
Yeah.
that followed from Pan's Labyrinth, especially, at least for me.
Oh, Pan's Labyrinth was a good one too. Oh, man.
But the whole creature effects, like practical
yeah.
effects, the makeup fits this world totally. And honestly, and I know we'll get into it, there's been a couple of others, but Ron Perlman, he
is
was
the
just
Hellboy.
yeah, he is. He's the Hellboy.
It's the voice. It is the bravado that he just Ron Perlman in general. Like,
Yeah, you really didn't have to change too much from what I believe Ron Perlman to be.
yeah, I liked the casting in 2004, but of course, I'm a teenager. I didn't really appreciate it. I just thought, oh, this guy's Hellboy. But now, like watching it back all these years later, I'm like, man, I don't know. Like Ron Perlman looked like he is Hellboy.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
For them to cast him in that role, I'm like, man, that's a great casting.
Yeah.
Like,
It really was.
Like before Hellboy, I had no idea who Ron Perlman was.
yeah,
And I know what he looks like, and I could point him out in a lineup. And I know I've seen him in other things, but I couldn't name you off the top of my head another thing that he's done.
I just instantly think of Drive
Drive
because he was
yeah.
with Albert Brooks and the villain.
Yeah, and that's about it.
He's
I know
been-
he's been in
but
stuff.
Yeah.
I think
but-
wasn't he a big role in Sons of Anarchy? I feel like he was in a motorcycle show, and I feel like he was like I think he's been around for a while, but I feel like he got popular because of Sons of Anarchy.
maybe
If he's in that show,
yeah, he was in Sons of
Okay.
Anarchy. Yeah,
like for a few years.
yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking that was it.
List of Ron Perlman
I
performances.
mean, he was in the
Good
TV
gracious.
show Beauty and the Beast back in the 90s.
What did he play?
Somebody named Vincent.
The Beast.
I don't remember him in Enemy at the Gates. Oh, of course, Blade 2.
Oh well,
So that's
God.
probably where
Where you saw him first.
He got on GDT's radar too.
that's probably true.
It's like, hey, maybe this guy is Hellboy. Oh, he was in Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Was he in Nightmare Alley? I feel like him and Del Toro did something else.
Possibly, but I couldn't.
Man, he has so many fucking
I know he's
acting
been
credits.
around for a while, but I do
He was
think
in Nightmare Alley.
Well, okay,
I thought he was. Yeah,
I thought they worked together.
he was in Don't Look Up. I don't remember him in that film.
Oh, I think
He was in Pinocchio.
yeah, him and GDT like each other.
Oh, he was the voice of Optimus Primal in Transformers: Rise of the Beast, which
Oh,
not a bad Transformers
not
movie.
a bad Transformers movie. That's right. Can we not do Hellboy and just focus on Ron Perlman's career?
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
that's something that I don't think a lot of
It's-
people have talked about.
It is a fascinating filmography to look through.
He's done a lot of voiceover work.
I mean, I
Well,
would.
I mean,
You can't mistake that voice.
Yeah.
He was in the Chronicles of Riddick.
Oh, I do remember him in that one.
Can't
So-
say I saw it.
He's a voice in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and I don't.
Yeah, I
don't
know. I
remember it.
wouldn't. Yeah, I don't remember much of any of those movies, except Johnny Depp and Colin Farrell transformed.
And he was in an episode of Charmed.
Well,
How about that?
there you go.
Pacific Rim.
Yep.
Oh
He
man,
was-
I see him and GDT like each other.
Yeah.
And he was in Men in Black, the animated series.
Of course he
The
was.
Scorpion King 3.
There was a third one,
He won't really turn down anything, I don't guess.
The Island of Dr. Moreau. I don't remember him in that.
Well, I don't. Well,
Okay, let's get back on.
but
So-
he was born to play Hellboy.
Yeah.
Thank God. And with these reboots and everything, it's keeps more obvious than it keeps getting more obvious that only he should have played Hellboy.
And he voiced Hellboy in a lot of animated movies that were direct to video afterwards. So he
I
made,
think he
made
loves
a
the
little bit of
character.
money.
I think it did, but I think he loves the character, and I think there's also this loyalty to Del Toro's vision that I see why he may have done other stuff, but he never did another movie without Del Toro. So
Yeah.
whether they went to him or not, I have no idea. He might be too old. I don't know.
He was in a Police Academy movie. Okay, we can we can move on.
And then
on this episode of Drinking with Ron Perlman, no, the tomato meter 81%. We established that.
yeah,
So there's 3 of us in this room. 2 out of the 3 liked it, so that's what we're batting, like 66 2/3
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
What do we think the popcorn meter for Rotten Tomatoes were? And I will tell you, there was 204 reviews as far as critics go on Rotten Tomatoes for the audience, 250,000 plus.
yeah, and a lot of those are. I mean, I assume they all didn't come from 2004.
No.
I mean, I kind of feel like it's probably 70s or 80s too, at least.
I'm gonna say 84.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say too. I'll say 86.
84 and 86. I kind of spoiled it. 66%.
Oh, you did spoil
Wow.
it?
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
Oh, because of our.
Because
I see.
So-
I'm still working on my math.
you know,
So you're saying if you carry the two, but
you're a student of Steiner math, aren't you, sir?
yes, yeah. 60. I thought for sure it would be in the 70s.
I
or
thought it
80s.
would have been higher too, to be honest.
Yeah. That is kind of surprising.
Or it's people who have gotten so MCU brainwash, they're shitting on a movie like that now, and they shouldn't. They don't
or
appreciate it.
throwing it in like with the other superhero movies of the time. It's like, oh,
Right.
they didn't. Yeah, we don't expect much from
Unless
this 'cause
it's
it was
Ang Lee's The
2004.
Hulk. That deserves to be shit on no matter when you saw
My
it.
disliking of it has nothing to do with the MCU because I'm not the biggest superhero movie guy to begin with. So
Well, that's true.
I was just bored with it. But anyway, let's see what people on Letterboxd believed or
good.
felt about this.
Okay.
So I got a couple here. We have Adam Bolt, 3 stars. And he asks, what is it with Del Toro sexualizing fish?
Mm.
Well, maybe we have to ask an important question about our old friend Guillermo here.
Yeah. Anthony has a question as well. He also gave it 3 stars, and he's kind of in my boat. Am I the only one who remembered this being better than it actually was?
That's a weird flip because
Yeah.
I felt like this held up pretty well. I think I liked it more watching it now than I did back in 2004.
I was actually surprised that I still enjoyed it now because of these shows we do. I just expect it not to be as good, but to me, I think what the difference is because it's who's making it.
Yeah.
I think there is a skill level there that Del Toro brings that you don't have to like be in love with the story, but I think the whole kind of atmosphere, tone, the world building in that, and on top with what you said, Stoney, with the casting and me personally, the practical effects, the makeup and stuff. Del Toro's been doing his thing. First of all, he did it before Hellboy, but I think that's why it still holds up because it doesn't feel that dated to me. Like I feel like maybe change. I mean, I'm not saying it's perfect, but change a couple things and release it in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Still good.
Well, it's certainly better than the most recent one they made in terms of the filmmaking aspects of it.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if you've seen the most recent one from last year.
Oh, yeah. No, I was talking about the David Harbour
Yeah.
one.
There is one that came out in October. Literally, I think got released in other countries.
Yeah.
And then just got sent to TV where I think you could just rent it for the $20. But it's called Hellboy the Crooked Man. And it was like an hour and a half. And I mean, it's not that good, but I'll give it this. It's a totally different tone. They play it pretty grounded, where it's just this like about witches and everything, but they play it like just a kind of like a cheap Hellboy horror movie.
Yeah.
And David Harbour, like, I don't even know who played Hellboy.
Yeah. So I think you're onto something with that. Like the filmmaking aspects of it, like you go back and watch this 21 years later, and for me anyway, it was like, oh, this is a Guillermo del Toro movie. Like this is not like a young filmmaker before he really found his stride. Like there's a parallel between Hellboy and the stuff that he's still done up to this day. And it's really interesting to think, like, if you heard about it now, Guillermo del Toro is doing a superhero movie. I would get stoked about that. I would be pumped about that.
Yeah, ditto.
And that's what Hellboy is. Like, even going back and watching it was like, man, the vibes, everything from a technical aspect is just really tight. And it was surprising to hear the reverse of what we're talking about, that somebody went back and watched it and thought, oh man, I can't believe
you didn't really watch it.
Yeah.
So
no,
bored.
I'm not talking about McCash. I'm talking
you
about the
look like you were
Letterboxd
pointing to
review.
him.
No. I will say an actor by the name of Jack Kesy,
That's who's
Kesy,
Hellboy,
played
wasn't he?
Hellboy, who I was not familiar with and am not familiar with, but I've seen a lot of his work. He was in Deadpool 2. He was in the Baywatch movie.
What's he look like? Can you show me a picture?
He looks familiar. I know this is great for those listening at home.
Yeah, you should see it. He does kind of look familiar. I think but he also looks like one of those like pretty boys who just gets beat up in the movies.
Yeah, or does the beating up.
Yeah, but but what? That's why, like, and listen, Golden Army is not of the same standard, even though it's a nice try. But that still brings me back to where I wish they had one more shot. I wish they could have made this a trilogy, because I think something really would have. I think it would have been worth it. I think all three together would have been
Spider-Man all over again.
Well, so.
Yeah, I would agree. I would love to see
just one more, just
because the Golden Army was. I want to rewatching this made me want to rewatch the Golden Army. I remember it not being very good at all. But man, just to be able to get that third movie, see how they redeem themselves from that.
Yeah.
I would have been in on it.
Well, listen, a lot of times it's that third movie that's like, oh, okay, you can forgive the second one a little bit.
Yeah,
I did with Lord of the Rings.
This Jack Kesy was in The Killer, 2023, the David Fincher. Michael Fassbender.
Maybe that's why he looks most familiar. I couldn't tell you what he played, but I'm like McCash.
He's credited as salesman.
That's right. Yeah, I remember.
I have two more for us here from Letterboxd. Elif Beth Null, I probably butchered that, but that's okay. 4 stars for Hellboy. They appeared to really like it, and says the last 3 minutes of this film are the most romantic in the history of the universe.
Oh. Is that with Selma Blair and Hellboy?
I'm going to be honest. I don't know what those last 3 minutes are.
When he tells Selma Blair, he's telling her, like, I told him, like, for her, I'll cross over. And there's a pause, a tense pause. You can feel the romantic tension. And he goes, and then you'll be sorry. And then they kiss. And I'm like, that's a bar.
Yeah, it is. And then that's it.
And then that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
And then lastly, Steven gives it half a star.
Oh, that's you.
This movie bored the shit out of me on levels only Hereditary has bored me.
Oh, that really was you.
Fun fact.
I did not mean to. I literally was kidding, and then you started reading it. I'm like, holy shit, sorry.
Fun fact, after I wrote it, I giggled to myself, and my wife was like, what's so funny? And I was like, oh, this review of Hellboy on Letterboxd, because I was doing research. And she's like, I read it to her, and she's like, you found your soulmate. I'm like, hey, honey, that was me. I wrote
Do you
that.
think all guys do that? Because I do that too. I'm like, listen to this funny tweet someone tweeted, and I'll do it. And then my wife will look at me like it's stupid, and she's like, who was that? And I was like, it was me.
I do the same thing.
I love it. But I would be pissed at that, Steven, because not only is Hereditary a top-tier horror movie, but Hellboy was pretty great itself. So that whole review just doesn't make any flipping sense to me.
Not in your mind, because it doesn't add up, because you don't know
That's
how
right.
to do math.
It doesn't add up.
I got some fun facts we can get into, and I kind of alluded at the top of the show when we were talking about casting. Doug Jones' character, Abe Sapien, is not voiced by Doug Jones. It is voiced by David Hyde Pierce, a.k.a. Niles Crane of Frasier.
How about that?
I forgot Selma Blair was in this, but I do remember David Hyde Pierce. Like I remembered him and Ron Perlman, but for some reason, I never really pieced together that obviously, first of all, the thought of David Hyde Pierce in that outfit, I wish that's how it would have gone. But I should have known because Doug Jones he's been doing stuff for, because Doug Jones, I think, wasn't he the one with the Pan's Labyrinth at the table with the fingers in the eyes?
That I don't know.
I thought maybe he did that too.
But I do know he was the Silver Surfer in the 2007 Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Damn.
You know who voiced the Silver Surfer?
Who?
It was not Doug Jones.
No, it wasn't. It was someone famous.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I totally forgot about that. I probably, if I've heard it, I'm sure I'd know, but I totally forgot he did that.
So I don't know what Doug Jones sounds like because
there are interviews on YouTube.
I was going to say, I know what he looks like, and I do know what he sounds like, but I didn't think it was, I didn't think his voice was annoying, but, you know, people think I'm a lady on the phone, so what do I know?
What do they know? Continuing with Doug Jones, all of the underwater scenes with Abe Sapien were filmed on his birthday.
Oh, nice.
It was a 21-hour shoot.
Oh, gross.
And he ended up bruised and beaten by the end of it. And Del Toro started the day by giving him a birthday cake and said, "Happy birthday, Doug. Today we're going to string you up by your balls."
Oh, my God.
You can hear that in the DVD commentary.
And Doug Jones would come back to do several more movies for him,
Yeah.
so must have enjoyed it enough.
Somebody's got a kink.
Yep, like who's it? Was it David or Keith Carradine who
Hung himself?
Yeah, with his balls wrapped
That would have
around.
been David's the older one, yeah?
Yeah, whoever was Bill in Kill Bill, that's who did it.
Yeah. Hellboy was originally going to have cloven hooves for feet like he does in the comics.
Yes.
But it was decided that it would be easier and safer for Ron Perlman to perform his stunts with normal booted feet.
Oh, man. I would have loved to see them hooves.
Ron did break a rib during production. It was during the subway scenes that they were filming. He jumped onto a train that was coming towards him at about 45 miles an hour.
Oh, my God. What a man.
What a man. And he came back for a sequel, so he has a kink as well.
Yeah, well, he did all that other stuff with him, too.
Yeah.
So he doesn't care.
Yep.
He enjoys it.
Yeah.
He cashed them checks. He didn't care.
Yeah.
Get them Hellboy checks. They're probably not even $1 million.
Yeah. So in preparing for the role, he read all the comics, the Hellboy comics, and then worked out 3 hours a day, 5 to 7 days a week. And he also worked out while shooting. Every day he had off from filming, he would work out. So this man was dedicated.
I'm not really sure, but I feel like he's always been a big son bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, with muscle, and even now, when he's shown up in like some of these other movies, like Nightmare Alley, for instance, it's like he is still looks like a giant of a man.
He's like a block.
Yeah, he's basically Hellboy.
Yeah.
He's like a Minecraft character.
He seems like he's built one. Like he's just shapes.
Nice. Yeah, he is.
Like
shapes.
Like
Just square on top of a bigger square.
the wrestler Neville. I forget what his name is in AEW now, but
Pac.
Yeah, I always referred to him as Triangle Man because he's just fucking shapes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That and Mighty Mouse because they always had a cape in WWE.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man.
That's right.
I forgot they butchered him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he got pissed and left.
Yeah. We could talk about that and other wrestling things all day long, but it took Guillermo del Toro 6 years to bring this character to the big screen.
Dang.
I don't know what took him so damn long.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's IP, so maybe the rights.
Maybe
those
to get that creator on
conversations.
there.
Yeah.
Apparently that was short-lived if they had a falling out between the first and second one.
A fun fact about the movie's release, it was released in Malaysia as Super Sapiens to avoid being banned like Daredevil for the use of devil or hell in the title.
I see.
Oh, man.
Stupid religion.
That's soft.
Yeah,
That is
boy,
so
is that what a
soft.
shitty title to come up with.
Couldn't you call it like Superboy? Because
Yeah.
Sapiens is not the lead in the film.
Yeah,
Super Sapiens.
Couldn't Red be in there somewhere?
What did they call him in the film, too?
That I don't.
And I mean, there's a lot of like satanic imagery in
Yeah.
that movie. Like, if you're going to go as far to change the title of the film, why are you even showing that film to begin with?
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of work if you're going to go see, what was it, Super
Sapiens.
Sapiens.
but then you're going to listen to someone be called Hellboy all
Or is he
2
called
hours?
Super Sapien?
Yeah, I was going to say, or is he
It's Super Sapien and Abe Sapien.
or is he called Red Minecraft?
Yeah.
Red Minecraft?
Let me see if I get.
Red Block.
Maybe he's just called Ron Perlman.
Maybe they choose it. Maybe it's just Ron.
Yeah.
I was hoping to be able to find like. I forget where I get this information from, but I wanted to see like, where is Malaysia's box office numbers? I'll have to.
Yeah, that's a
I'd
good-
love to
good
know how
question.
much Super Sapiens.
Yeah,
Made.
I'll find that as we continue. Let me get back to my notes here, but that'd be a fun little fact to have. None of the cast members' names are written on the promotional posters. They're not mentioned in the trailers, and they're not shown in the opening credits of the film. So there's no star power, according to the studios, for this film.
Well, at the time, I mean,
Selma Blair's the biggest
Selma
name.
Blair, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
And what is
And
she
even
coming
if you-
off of in 2004?
And if you liked Ron Perlman,
You
you don't really see. I mean,
Yeah, you
you
don't
wouldn't know it was him anyway.
Yeah.
you don't know it's Ron Perlman. So
Right.
what are the Ron Perlman
Selma Blair
fans
was
gonna
off
do?
of what's that Cameron Diaz movie, The Sweetest Thing, right? Cruel Intentions.
Okay.
Legally Blonde was not
Oh,
too
shit.
too
Well,
long before
that-
this.
All right. Well, that probably. I mean,
Never
granted,
mind.
she's filmed
Let's
before
see.
it, but she was a.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Dallas 362, which is a film I have never heard of. A Guy Thing, which is Julia Stiles, oddly enough, the second time
Yeah.
she's come
That's
up
a
on this
great, that's a
podcast.
great film.
Yep.
And Jason Lee.
Yep.
And then Brandon brought up The Sweetest Thing in 2002, along with Highway, with Jared Leto and Jake Gyllenhaal in that as well.
Wow. So yeah.
And then Legally Blonde, Cruel Intentions was 99. I don't remember Down to You, but that was Freddie Prinze and
Freddie
Julia
Prinze and
Stiles.
Julia Stiles.
Oh, yeah, I
That's a
remember that
great
one.
film. He drinks shampoo over
The-
his love of
the-
Julia Stiles.
The shit you like.
If you think I love John Cusack from the
Compa-
80s and 90s,
I know,
you
but
don't know shit when it
So bored with Hellboy, but Down to Earth. That's
Down to You.
Down to you.
be
That's
respectful.
that's the most excited you've been in years, and the thing you know about is you drink shampoo, and that's. And look, you're having
It's a
you're
great film.
from
a great
cheek
film.
from ear to ear. You're smiling.
I'm ready
Can't
to
get
go
enough.
back in time and talk about Down to You or
God.
any Freddie Prinze Jr. movie.
Selma
Oh.
Blair has done a million movies since Hellboy, and I have not heard of any of these.
I probably hadn't heard many of them.
Yeah,
to
I
be
was going to
honest.
say.
I know she's doing better health-wise.
Yep. It's almost
good
like
to hear.
she's gotten better, and Christina Applegate's the one now
Yeah.
that's suffering, which is sad. But
Yeah.
but yeah. So she is. She's the biggest name in Hellboy.
Yeah. I'm happy to report that I have found the box office numbers for Hellboy in Malaysia.
Oh, here we go.
I will let
Super
you.
Sapiens.
I will let you know now. Hellboy ranks as the 835th highest-grossing film in Malaysia
Whoa.
ever.
That might be. Maybe that's a big deal.
Maybe,
Wow.
I have no idea. But they brought in $657,000.
Hey, that's more than
Bulgaria and
Bulgaria.
Bolivia
And I was
combined.
and I was impressed with Bulgaria's numbers.
What a time to be alive in 2000. I'm just scrolling Selma Blair's Wikipedia page.
Most
and
of this podcast has been researching other people.
I just saw like she
Further
won
proving my fact it's not a good film.
in 2000. She won an MTV Movie Award for Best Kiss with Sarah Michelle Gellar in Cruel Intentions.
And Ryan Phillippe.
Yeah.
I think they had a tongue bath in that movie. I haven't seen it in forever.
Oh yeah, they did. Oh yeah. I love when they play what's that Bittersweet Symphony at the end when she pushes open those.
Was that the Verve?
Yes. Yeah.
Cruel Intentions is one of the worst movies I've ever seen too.
The worst?
Yeah.
It's not a good movie, but it's kind of like when I saw like when it first came out, when you see Wild Things, you like it, but it's not for the reasons you should. Yeah,
it's horny.
You should. Yeah, yeah.
We were horny in the 90s and early 2000s.
My Power Ranger undies were soaked.
Oh my god, that is disgusting.
Oh,
I think they were sticky, not soaked, sir.
yeah. No. I remember. It was gooey.
It took him 6 years to get it to the screen, but it took 114 days to film the movie.
Damn. I'm trying.
That's like 4 months.
Hold on. I'm doing math. Hang on a second.
Doing his math.
No. Oh my God. That's a long shoot.
It's a long shoot. I have this note here, but since I was kind of in and out of the vast majority of this movie, Hellboy loves cats because that's the first thing he sees when he pops into the world.
Huh. I didn't even catch that, but
I saw a lot of notes and researching, like he has a love for cats, and I was like, I missed all of that.
I think there was something about the cats, but I don't recall that's him seeing it when he popped out, but I don't think we see that, do we? We just see him as a baby.
Yeah, we just see him. It's just sitting there.
Yeah, well.
He is a Hall of Fame cat dad, though.
Is that maybe that's just a comic thing? Maybe
I don't know.
They threw it in there?
It could have been, yeah.
I think I would have enjoyed the comics much more than I enjoyed the film if I gave him a shot.
Or Mike Mignola's short stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now they need pictures. I need pictures. Like I said earlier, I just think Hellboy is just a darker version of Men in Black, and both Hellboy and Men in Black share like a thematic foundation. They're dealing with the paranormal or supernatural in a world that is largely unaware of it. They both feature organizations that operate in secrecy, protecting humanity from these otherworldly threats.
Yeah.
I don't disagree that is it.
I think that's really. Yeah,
I slept through Men in Black in the theaters as well.
That's a real. I mean, yes, they do, but I feel like that's kind of just a general scope of like that could probably be applied to a lot of movies. So
like Still Magnolias,
correct, or
Blade 2.
Cruel Intentions.
Down to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just repeating myself. Really, I really like the world building that Del Toro does, and to me, Pan's Labyrinth is one of the absolute best examples of that. And
absolutely.
And like you said, it's a Del Toro movie through and through. Now, whether not you, but people like that or not, that's up to them. But the man has like he has his DNA squirted all over it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's sticky over there.
Yeah.
And I do believe like Del Toro is a filmmaker a lot like Tarantino, where you don't need to see the whole film. You just need to see like 10 seconds and you know who made the film.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Oh,
for
yeah.
Sure.
No,
yeah.
that's very true. And it just still holds up. Like I think if I would have seen this in a theater, like I said, past handful of years, I'd say yeah. And like Stoney said, I mean, it is a superhero movie. It's funny. I'd never really thought of it that way, and I don't read the comics or anything. I haven't really been able to read for years, and so I love the I love that casting. I love that world, and like I said, man, the creatures that it's there, and I know this is based off of stuff, but I mean what him and his crew have been able to do and what they're able to create is amazing to me, and he hasn't stopped.
And I think they really flesh out the characters here. There's an emotional depth to this movie that I feel like you don't get with the Men in Black movies. With Hellboy, he's a complicated character that has obviously a ton of trauma, and it's weird to see such an impervious character with such strong insecurities that he masks with his sort of bravado and charisma and humor and that sort of thing. But even in like Selma Blair's character, we see trauma, we see complications. There's a level of this film that I think is very human which I think is something that Del Toro does in a lot of his films, where he takes these grotesque beings and makes them and humanizes them through their experience, their personalities, the things that they go through, and who they come out at as, or who they come out as in the end.
And and that is why I think, and I get it. It's like, I understand. I would do the same thing, but to what you said is why I think The Shape of Water is a great movie.
Yeah.
Because of what he does, and with Hellboy especially, but in all of his films too. There's actual there's real care for the characters.
Yeah.
And granted, I'm assuming at some point I would imagine that this would also be what Del Toro thinks, okay, let's do this, and then I would love to build on it. And come to find out you only got one movie left, but to make one movie, I feel like he kind of covered all of his bases.
Yeah.
And for anybody that either read the comics or has never read them like me, I was entertained and also just appreciated that what all he was able to actually get on that screen and still make it mean something. Even, and not saying everything is. I mean, I like the action and stuff too, but again, and I mean, credit has to go to Perlman too, because that character is the personality of the film, essentially.
Yeah.
And without it, I mean, without someone like Perlman playing Hellboy, I mean, then I would have been bored. But
Well, okay, on that note, let's talk about who could have played Hellboy.
No one.
Because I have some coulda, woulda, shouldas.
Oh boy.
First, I'm going to start with Hugh Grant.
As Hellboy?
No.
I
I don't know. He was set to play an unspecified role in the film, but never did for whatever reason I wasn't able to find.
100% would have been Myers, you think?
Which one's that?
Myers is the new liaison,
Sorry.
the kid that they bring
He
in.
could have been Abe Sapien if David Hyde Pierce is doing the voice.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Yeah. No, I could see him do that. I could see him doing that.
Yeah. But when it comes to Hellboy, the studios did not want Ron Perlman.
Well,
That's fascinating.
no, well,
they had three names they fought for.
let me guess. They're probably big names that would be on the poster.
Yes.
Okay.
You want to take a shot at some of the three?
In 2004,
2004.
which it did take 6 years to get made.
John Travolta.
No. I think we learned enough through The Punisher not to do that.
Yeah.
Is it The Rock?
Rock is one of them.
Dwayne Johnson.
I figure because of Scorpion King, maybe.
Yeah.
Or Mummy, whatever.
Man, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank.
Think family.
Don't tell me. I want to say
Let's just say it.
Arnold.
No.
Okay, good. In 2000s, that would have been something, but
That would have been something.
All right, so The Rock was one.
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody who
Family.
who really cares about family.
Oh, Vin
Vin
Diesel.
Diesel.
Vin Diesel.
I was gonna say
That
Mark
would
Wahlberg.
suck. That would suck
Yeah,
so
that would be
fucking bad.
awful. Just
Both
a-
of them, really.
Which one?
Dwayne Johnson
Yeah.
or
Oh,
Vin
yeah.
Diesel.
Yeah. Sorry, I
And
just
the
totally
star of Dream Scenario.
Nicolas
Nicolas
Cage.
Cage.
Put him in
see,
there.
I could see Nicolas Cage. I
Put
want
him in
Nicolas
there.
Cage to play Hellboy now.
Yeah.
In
He's already playing John
2025.
Madden.
Yeah.
Let him
why
do
not?
it.
Is he doing John Madden in the
Yeah.
biopic?
It's a
Yeah.
David O. Russell, and they released an image last month.
Mhm.
May. It's a younger, like with the Raiders,
Okay.
and Christian Bale's Al Davis, and I swear to God, he looks just like Al Davis. He looks
him. It's
just
crazy.
That's
like Al
scary.
Davis. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Del Toro pushed back on the casting.
Good for
and
him.
The studio then asked to have Vin Diesel instead play Abe Sapien.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's stupid.
Why would you put? He really can't really do anything else but those Fast and Furious
That's
movies.
it.
This is
And
you
Groot.
read stuff like this, and this is why people get the perception that like studios kill art, because
Yeah.
it's not like what is best for the movie, what is best for the role as Hellboy, what's
Right.
gonna put asses in seats.
That's all they care about.
Yeah.
Well,
and
I
it's-
mean, in a way, I understand that.
well, sure, from a business
but-
standpoint,
But at the same time, like, this movie doesn't, like, it clearly
I don't think
is
you
not
needed a
meant.
name.
Is right? It's
Yeah.
not meant for that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. But let me tell you, I feel like there's filmmakers like GDT are the reason. Like some people would say, okay, like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's why you kind of,
I look at Guardians of the Galaxy, and you look at that cast, and yeah, they're huge names now. Vin Diesel is a big name, don't get me wrong,
Right.
but you don't see Vin
right.
Diesel.
And you
don't
don't see
see
Bradley
Cooper. No.
Right.
Chris Pratt wasn't a star
No.
when
Didn't-
he was
Guardians-
the chubby guy
yeah.
from Parks and Rec.
Right.
Yeah.
He was a buffoon.
And Batista, I
No.
mean,
He was
outside
just-
of WWE, you didn't know who the average
No.
Joe didn't know who Batista the fuck
No.
was.
No. And I mean, Zoe Saldana, I get, but no, I mean, Guardians made them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's with Chris Hemsworth and everybody,
Yeah.
really. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but again, Hellboy isn't one of those that you need to. Plus, your main star is you got to have. There's the voice and that personality and bravado, like he said. But you don't know who. You wouldn't know that was Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
Just like if you probably wouldn't know Nicolas Cage was behind there.
Yeah, you would definitely know that. You could even look at Iron Man because nobody was
The turnaround.
casting fucking Robert
Yeah.
Downey Jr.
No.
Yeah.
That was a risk.
But do you guys think it's a better business practice if you're worried about money, instead of doing what's going to get people into the theater? And I understand motives are different from person to person that are making these decisions, but it seems to me like you build a better reputation by just making good movies.
True.
Well, yeah, and I think we kind of have seen that, especially here over time, like dealing with Warner Brothers and stuff. But it's almost like even if they pushed back and they would have gotten Vin Diesel, Del Toro probably wouldn't work with them again because it's an awful
No.
experience.
Yeah,
And
which
someone,
is that's a good
someone
point.
else will pick him up and they'll let him do just like I forget, but I think was it Warner Brothers that Christopher Nolan left
Yeah,
because of what they did with Tenet.
yeah,
And he didn't like it.
Not
With
nobody
doing the
liked
COVID
Tenet.
thing.
Yeah.
But so they lost him and he's not doing anything with it. So sometimes you got like, is it worth it?
Is it
That's
worth
the
it?
thing. Is it
yeah.
worth it?
I wish, I shit on Hereditary earlier, but I wish more studios did like what A24 does. A24 doesn't make star-driven films.
No, they don't.
They might have, I mean,
But they attract very talented people.
Yeah, true. But when I see a trailer start and I see the A24
Yeah.
come across screen, you have my attention because
Yeah.
of the history you have of making quality films.
Yeah.
Not all of them I like.
No.
And you're not going to bat 100
But
with
they're-
anybody.
But they're never, whether you like them or not, I don't really ever think they're kind of,
They're high quality,
right.
regardless.
And they're not, very often are they conventional in any stretch of the imagination.
I'm glad you brought up A24 because to me that's a prime example of what I'm talking about. Is like nobody knew who A24 was early on, but they built this reputation after just focusing on making good films and putting unique stuff out there. And now you look at where they're at now, and it's like it means something when you see that on the screen. And then they're even getting into, what did they just have that was an awards player because they wanted to make a concerted effort
Well,
to
Everything
get
Everywhere
more-
All at Once was A24.
Yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I was about to say, I know they just had a best picture winner.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of people. I mean, the Past Lives was an A24.
Yeah.
Materialist that's coming out this month is A24.
And you look at the chances they've taken on people like ninth grade, Bo Burnham. Who's given Bo Burnham millions of dollars to make a
Yeah.
film,
Yeah.
especially a film like that based off his comedy?
Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. So I agree. I mean, it's mind blowing on some of the things you have. And you know what? We probably wouldn't even be talking about this one if Vin Diesel was Hellboy.
Yeah, you're right.
Because what
I would
personality?
have never seen
what
it.
kind of personality is that?
No,
Yeah. So
I'm Hellboy.
yeah. I live down in hell every fast minute
Selma's
Order
my family.
on half a tank. That's my impression of
That's a
his
good
acting.
impression. That is
Spot on.
I am Groot.
Del Toro wasn't the original.
No, get
voice
out of
for
here.
direct to film.
Get out of here.
Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who went on to
Oh.
do Alien Resurrection,
Oh, well, shit.
was an option.
Tomato.
Yep. And Peter Hyams of Time Cop fame.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
AEW president Tony Khan's favorite film, Time Cop.
Yes, with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. And David Goyer ended up directing Blade Trinity because Del Toro turned it down to direct Hellboy,
Well.
despite directing Blade 2 and the studio wanting Goyer to helm Hellboy. So they just
How about that?
That's a nice switch.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to go and look at Jean-Claude Van Damme's movies while we're here?
No.
Street Fighter. And then
You should only name Bloodsport, and that's it.
I was about to
I
say
was trying to think of the
Bloodsport.
other one and I couldn't. And then the last note I have for all of Hellboy is Del Toro turned down 2 other films to direct Hellboy. One of them, Alien versus Predator.
This is
Okay.
what he turned down.
What he turned down
Okay.
in order to direct
Wow.
Hellboy. He turned down Alien versus Predator.
Okay.
And imagine that. I'm not a fan of this franchise, but Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Oh, that would fucking rip.
And you know what's so weird? That's one, I think, of the highest rated ones because
Yeah.
Alfonso Cuarón from Gravity and Roma did that one. I see why he skipped on that other one. That wouldn't have
I don't know. I
attracted
kind of
me.
would low-key love to see Del Toro take on Alien versus Predator.
I think it would be cool, but I feel like then Hellboy is like ruined. Like, I don't think anybody could have gone to Hellboy and made it better.
Yeah.
Del Toro could have made any of those probably better.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Never saw either one of them. So,
Yeah.
that's all I have note wise. Are there any quotable sayings or anything like that you guys want to add before we get to our Mount Rushmore question?
I thought the actor that played Professor Broom was also perfectly cast, and I love
Is that
his
Hurt?
quote.
Or am I thinking of someone else? Is that Hurt?
I think
I
so.
don't,
Old man?
I don't remember.
Is that the old man?
The old man, yeah.
Yeah, that's John Hurt.
Yeah.
And I loved his line when he said, "There are things that go bump in the night. Make no mistake about that. But we're the ones that bump back."
I like that.
I do
one.
remember. I did remember hearing that. That was kind of
Yeah.
early in the film, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
John Hurt, William Hurt, that was his dad. John
Oh,
Hurt
okay.
is William Hurt is John Hurt's son.
I did not know that.
And they both have passed since.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they're a big Hollywood family. But yeah, I liked him. John Hurt was in a ton of stuff all the way up to the very end. I think in this movie he was like 112.
Well,
So good for him, I
knows?
think.
yeah.
Good for him.
All right. Mount Rushmore time.
I know, these are tough.
This one was easy for me.
It was easy for me, too.
Oh,
yeah.
was it? Oh, okay.
Your favorite non-Marvel DC comic book film adaptations?
I go with Hellboy, and honestly, it's Hellboy or Sin City for me. Those are the two that I go back and forth on.
Yeah, Sin City is
I have Sin City in my list.
I liked Kick-Ass,
I have that in my list.
and I go with the Judge Dredd remake they did in like
Okay.
2012.
I saw the
13?
original, but I never saw the remake.
They did a remake that was pretty
had Carl
pretty
Urban
intense.
in it. It was
Yeah.
cool. It
Yeah.
really was
I'll
good.
take your word for it.
Sin City, yes. I'm gonna go with Kick-Ass as well. Scott Pilgrim versus the World,
That's in my list.
I never saw that one.
and I'll be honest, there are a couple where I didn't know. It's a toss-up, probably between 300 or Kingsman.
Okay.
On those last ones, even though Men in Black is too. Anyway, all right, I'll leave it at that.
The Crow was as well. I
Yeah.
never saw The Crow.
And so was
but
The
that
Mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I didn't know The
anyway.
Mask was until I did research, but I love The Mask.
Yeah. All right, there you
It's
go.
my favorite Jim Carrey movie. We'll talk about Jim Carrey soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Coming up. Keep your ears pierced. Or
What?
I mean, if they're pierced, go ahead and fucking keep them. I don't care. It's 2025.
Keep those ears pierced.
Yeah. Anyway.
I was really bummed by the Green Hornet movie because the
Same.
Green Hornet comics are fucking awesome. I read them like every year, or I'm sorry, every month for like 3 years when I was still into comics. I always pulled that one every month, and it is a shame.
That Seth Rogen fucked it up.
Was it Seth Rogen? Is he responsible for fucking it up?
I mean, if Ryan Reynolds fucked up the Green
The Green Lantern?
Green Lantern, then
Yeah.
Seth Rogen gets the.
I mean,
Fair enough. Fair point.
Yeah, I mean, he was in it. I don't know, but I do think he may have the writing credit and stuff too. He
Yeah.
didn't direct it.
produced or something.
And then, of course, Christoph Waltz, was the one of many villains he would play.
Yeah, I
don't blame him for anything.
I think it's also it is an absolute travesty to have a character such as Spawn in the grand mythos of comic book lore, and right now the only film we have is the one that came out in the 90s. And
was there not a second one or a reboot or something?
I
They're
think they've been
supposed to be.
trying.
They're supposed
and I think
to be
they've done
one.
like animated
Okay,
stuff.
maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
But John Leguizamo was that clown.
John Leguizamo is probably
He
the
does
best part
no
of that
wrong
film.
in my eyes.
Yeah.
No, I liked him in it. I just think that's funny that that's the only movie he's in.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like
the man
if
was
there's
the pest.
Yeah, I used to watch that movie a lot.
if there's never, like, imagine if there's only one Hellboy movie. I mean, it's that level of character, and there's only
But see what happens.
Just
You
like
can't- sometimes you can't replace that magic.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Just like Brandon thinks there's only one Gremlin movie.
there is a Gremlin movie.
Yeah. Also, honorable mention to I did not realize 30 Days of Night was based on a comic book.
Okay,
Oh,
well
that's a
there
good
goes
one.
all of my list.
Boom, got it.
Okay, all
I
right.
forgot you didn't even do yours.
Yeah.
I didn't have my ears pierced.
Mine was Kick-Ass, Scott Pilgrim, Sin City, 30 Days a Night. That's my 4.
That's a good. When I first started looking this up, Sin City was immediate.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
same.
and Scott Pilgrim
Yep.
were the two that I'm like, all right, that's at least half right there.
All right.
Get on
Anything
that
else
math.
before we get out of here?
I love anything that deals with like occult lore.
Yeah.
I loved all the trinkets in this film, all the stories. Rasputin as the bad guy, even though it's so funny they portray him as this like really sharp assassin, like evil person. But if you learn more about like the actual Rasputin who gained influence over the Russian, I can't remember the family name, but he was kind of a like dirty, kind of grungy hippie kind of guy that just everybody thought was really smart, but nobody knew if he actually was. The legend was based off of him supposedly surviving 2 or 3 assassination attempts. So people started to begin to believe that he had supernatural powers, but really it was just like, oh, the poison was in the wrong cup. Come to find out, he drank out of the
so
non-poison
he was just
cup,
lucky.
and he got stabbed. But like they swore he was dead, but he actually
came back.
wasn't dead, and they said, oh, he came back to life.
Really
But
is, he's
the
lucky.
truth was he never really died because they
God.
didn't hit any vital organs when they stabbed him. So
This
It's-
sounds more and more like John Wick.
it's kind of like this story of this guy just has really good luck, and these Russian aristocrats are just fools for believing in this stuff. But they portray him in Hellboy as like, oh, a disciple of hell that is very calculated.
Well,
so I
listen,
thought I think it's interesting.
Not knowing that, I did like the villain.
Well, no, I mean he's
but I
great, but it's
I love that. Basically, how you can just build something up.
It's
has
yeah,
nothing-
it is.
It's nothing.
It's
with
kind
any
of
truth.
funny. There's a lot of stuff out there, but it's what I like about Hellboy is like there's so much lore from like real world stuff.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you know,
occult and such.
all the theories about what the Nazis were studying, and like the spear that stabbed Jesus in the side, and whoever holds it becomes invincible. Like a lot of that stuff is based on real religious beliefs or occult theories, that sort of stuff. And I think it's just like meticulous filmmaking in that aspect to draw so many things from source material.
And something tells me GDT was already probably into that
Super
anyway.
into that stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's all.
Okay. Well, let's get out of here. So, gentlemen, if you want to tell these fine folks how they can find you on the internet.
On Twitter at Sir Brandon V and Sir Brandon on Letterboxd and NashvilleMovieDispatch.substack.com.
At Stoney Keeley on Twitter, at Sobros Network, Football and Other F Words, Stacking the Inbox, Nashville Movie Dispatch, the Hot Read Podcast, all over the place. I'm not too hard to find. Just Google me.
And if your ears are pierced, you can occasionally find him on 104.5 The Zone here in
That's
Nashville.
true. That is true.
You can find me on X at MC_Cash75, Letterboxd Stephen McCash, simply to find me. Most importantly, subscribe to Drinking With wherever you get your podcast fix. Leave us a rating and review so we know what you think about the show, and let us know what movie that's turning 21 years old you'd like us to discuss. And cheers to another episode of Drinking With, where we've explored the movies that have come of age, just like a fine wine. As we raise our glasses to movies turning 21, we've laughed, reminisced, and maybe shed a tear or two over Hellboy. and other timeless classics. So until next time, may your drinks be cold, your conversations lively, and your movie nights unforgettable. Drink responsibly, and remember, age is just a number, but great films are forever.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase